Um, the first one is based on an experience a few years ago. I was in Victoria, lived in Victoria. I went to the museum, and they had a kind of a gimmick thing where instead of getting a ticket, you got a boarding pass, and it had the name and some information about one of the passengers. This is called boarding pass. We are all on paper these days, in blueprints and on boarding passes. In our lives, the future still admits, right now, up the museum escalator. My family tree bears none of your names, but you were 22 and I was born on the 22nd. The boarding pass has the aura of a horoscope. You traveled alone. I continue that journey through the salvage, your name on my ticket. Second story, third class, cabin number unknown. Work was waiting for you in New York, the city that never sleeps, and Eastman Kodak had paid full fare on the promise of your prompt arrival. Where did you sleep? And where do you sleep? In the bowels of the ship. A skeleton dressed now in coral and weeds, your rib cage an aquarium, your skull in a cloud of ink, home for a frightened octopus. Did you bring a camera on board? Are you still in there now, an undeveloped negative? You had planned to sail with two acquaintances on an earlier ship, but it wasn't until Titanic that you passed the medical. What stars crossed at the right time for you to make history now, in my hand, your boarding pass, a facsimile, 95 years later, a counterfeit ticket to the future. At Christmas time in New Orleans, they built these elaborate bonfires on the levees and light fires. And it's a tradition because when the Acadians went down there, the kids were worried that Santa Claus wouldn't find them. So there's a reference to that in here. This is called the Cajun bonfires. Wind combs morning mist up the riverbanks and waves the Spanish hair over the bayou. Along the levee, beach umbrellas shade ships, castles, teepees, and trains, all carved in cedar. This fault line between earth and ocean burns a Christmas Eve between Acadia and Atlantis. Parents light bulrushes for their children who watch them burst into seed, sparkling the air. And the cedar bonfires are lit to line the dark, a runway to guide Papa Claus to their place of exile. And these children below the snow line sleep facing north, their dreams echoing with embers that cackle and cough a good night to ships that brought them to land reclaimed from sea. There, ashes rise in bat black flurries, high above the levee, making the stars blink.